Before I do completing the square, I need to take a little segue because some of the tests ask you to do something that is not in the review, and normally with my students I make sure I include it. So this is approximate the zeros of the function to the nearest I guess I can fit 10th. I just can't write it out. Here, they want you to do something that you did at the end of 10.3. So I'll give you an example of what that looks like. F of x equals x squared minus 8x plus 3. What you need to do is you need to draw this function. First, set it equal to 0, because to make a zeros of the function, you have to set it equal to 0. And then you have to draw the function. So to draw a good one, because I really have to come close, and you can certainly use your graphing calculator for this. I'm going to make my points. So if x is 0, y is 3. Here's my intercept. I'm also going to use all the tools at my disposal, and I'm going to find my axis of symmetry, which I can see is negative b. It's a negative 8, so it's a positive 8 over 2a, which is 1. So 8 over 2 is going to give me 4. So my axis of symmetry is 4. And I'm going to use that and plug back into this equation. When x is 4, 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 3 is going to give me 16 minus 32 plus 3. 16 plus 3 is 19, and 32 minus 19 is 13. So my vertex is going to be 4, 13, which is good that I figured this, negative 13, because this means I need to graph way down there, and I need to give myself a lot of space. I should also find a couple of extra points, but let me start drawing it. I'm going to go by 2s. Okay. So here's my x-intercept, my y-intercept. My axis of symmetry is going to be way down here. Sorry, my vertex is way down here. My axis of symmetry is x equals 4. And my vertex is around here for negative 13. And I need to find a couple of extra points. If this is 0, 3, and it's 4 away, then I know the other one is going to be in the other direction. So let me see what it looks like if it's an 8. And if that's correct, 64 minus 64 plus 3. This is going to be 8 and 3. And I think this is probably as close as I'm going to get. Although I should probably do 2, because I really need to get some accurate readings. So I'm going to put in a 2. 2 squared minus 2 times 8. So 4 minus 16 is negative 12. Plus 3 is negative 9. So if 2 and -9, I'm going to have it right here. And the mirror image is bound to be here. I am trying to draw this as carefully as possible on this little white piece of paper because I need to approximate the zeros of the function. So here I know that probably the zeros of this function are going to be between 0 and 1. So this x value is going to be between 0 and 1, and this one looks like it's going to be somewhat close to 8. So I'm going to try and draw my table, and I now had a sort of this larger table here, but I'm going to approximate using my calculator what would happen if x is 0.5 and 0.4 and 0.3, and on the other side, what is if it's 7.5 and 7.6. And I want to see how close y gets to 0, because when y gets very close to 0, I know I'm almost there. So let me grab my calculator, and I'm going to use this equation right here. And I have 0.5 squared minus 8 times 0.5 plus 3. And I have minus 0.75. Entering 0.4, 0.4 squared minus 8 times 0.4 plus 3. I am at negative 0.4. And if I then enter 0.3, because it looks like I'm getting closer and closer to 0 here, I get 0.3 squared minus 8 times 0.3 plus 3, and 0.69. So clearly, as I'm at 0.5, I am on the negative side, right? I'm at if x is 0.5, I'm in the negative, I'm getting closer and closer. And as I get to 0.4 on the x value, I'm probably at the closest I can get to the x-axis. And so therefore 0.4 is going to be my first answer. This is going to be 0.4. Here I'm going to do the same thing with 7.5. And I'm going to plug these numbers into my equation. 7.5 squared minus 8 times 7.5 plus 3. And I get negative 0.75. I'll try 7.6 squared minus 8 times 7.6 plus 3. Ooh. Need to clear that. 7.6 squared minus 8 times 7.6 plus 3. And I get negative 0.4. And I know that if I do 7.7, I'm going to get to 0.69. So my answer here was 0.4, and here is 7.6. So this value is 7.6. So my zeros of the function would be 0.4 and 7.6. I will not give you more than 1 or 2 tops on the test, but you need to know how to do this. You need to graph it. You need to get between what values you think it's going to be, and then you need to use a table or something to work it out. Okay? I'm going to go on to 10.5, completing the square. This actually was not even on your review, so please look it over and make sure you know how to do it.